trabajadores ha perdido nuestro amiguito Nevermore. Casi se regresa, pero no, dice, tengo que quedarme para hacer el daño. Esta sexta base por parte de nuestro amiguito Ser va a caer, que trae los amigos que encerró. No puede ser. Ah, la Burger, mire, se encerró una brutal que va a hacer, pero no sé si va a ser suficiente. Es mucho marín, tenemos todo,
In the top left-hand corner, we're going to begin things with the red Terran player from Shopify Rebellion. It is Björn.
And his opponent, down in the bottom left, we have Estrella. Speed circles right now, not even stimped up yet, but there we go, and suddenly they move like they are Zerglings. He decides to try and snipe as many structures as possible. Maybe he could have gone for the Nexus, decided to go for the guaranteed damage instead. Does eat a lot of big storms.
Trey is very aware too. He does catch the High Templars on the left side. That's going to be no storms available. Hits the High Templar in the middle as well. That's a major move, dodging that Disruptor, and suddenly 90% of Estrella's splash damage is just gone. It's one Colossus that's being chased down. There's a couple of High Templar on that right side. That's the only storm we had right there. And Estrella, okay, storms from the left, storms from the bottom will finally come to his rescue. But what an opportunity from Björn with some stellar EMPs to open up this engagement.
Yeah, fantastic fight right there for Björn. He still needs to be careful though. It seems like the weather forecast is stormy indeed. Estrella just has so many High Templar. They were pulled away from all of those bases. Now he decides to blink after it. Maybe get a couple of those units. Another big storm does land. And this has been an excellent back and forth so far, even though this
You've got a moment or an opportunity, and then it's not actually there, but these are good EMPs again, and currently no High Templars in this army. He does have some further back, but Björn's going to split. He's going to catch the High Templar from the left side. One stepping forward there as well will not do much. Finally gets the storm off, but Björn, I think, knows he's got a bit of an edge right here. He wants to keep pushing this. Catches a new Colossus. It will go down instantly. We are fighting into cannons though, and reinforcements showing up as well means that Björn has to make a choice, but he decides to go even deeper loco as he wants to take out this base, but the Stormer boys coming in from the left will get massive kills at the end.
What a game to start off the tournament as we have more and more reinforcing units showing up. Björn only has a few medevacs. It really makes it difficult for him to sustain these fights. He has this time around though, Estrella seems prepared.
No EMPs on the left side initially. He does hit the High Templar on the right, just trying to make those pickups. Losing the High Templars is a big deal, right? Because every time you have to replace those, that's gas that is not going to really stack up for Estrella then if you're replacing the whole time. His economy is good. Björn clearly knows he needs to get something done. I love that couple of units just getting forward, getting that High Templar. That storm's going to be much bigger though. So many Marines just sitting in there the whole time, and now the Zealots are on top of this army, and Björn, after so many good fights, has butchered this one, and that lets Estrella just push back up the right-hand side. Björn's going to try and get these Stalkers on the left. They are exposed. Now you got to wonder if chasing this far was the right call. Björn's reinforcements helping him out, and Estrella has to turn tail and run. But it's a very different scenario now because we're in a game where Björn has got a command center plus. That's a major attack on the left-hand side. Is he going to have enough to survive on the right at the same time? EMP comes down. First Storm doesn't do too much. EMP on the Colossus. Those Colossus right in the front, loco, and they are not going to have a good time. 4 of them being chased. The Zealots and Archons will jump on the planetary in the picture-in-picture, but every single Colossus has just fallen down. From there, as Estrella just looks to buy time for that economy to kick in some extra reinforcements. And Björn is already going to be feeling good about this game one because it was meant to be his game the way it all started out, but Estrella has done what Estrella did lately, which is
chasing through the storms is just so incredibly difficult. He does get another Colossus here, but this is exactly what Roddy was talking about before the games began. Estrella likes sitting there. He doesn't mind. You can push into him if you want to fight.
Orders or anything, so it looks very typical to the last game still. Here's the bunker going down though. Now there is a Zealot. That Zealot being made is a big factor. Steps back for the moment. Stalker on the way out. That will help a lot more as the bunkers start to come up.
He pulls the probes. He's ready to fight this before it really gets going. And that one Zealot is actually massive. Having the Zealot out really makes this defense so much better. 3 probes though already do fall. Björn of course known for his phenomenal micro, and he's targeting them as much as he can. The Zealot so far not really able to return much of the damage, and it looks like it might even go down here. The bunker though was delayed to buy time for this Stalker to come out, and now a shield battery is also producing, but I think Björn can get on top of it as he pushes the Stalker away. Does he have enough damage though to prevent his battery from coming up?
Yeah, I mean this is all good for Estrella right now, who has not really got anything else coming out behind this. The Stalker's getting very low. He has to step in to be able to, defend the battery. It goes down, and this Marine
send out to try and scout, although they are going to get intercepted here immediately.
Yeah, I think Astray is unlucky. If this was 2 Cyclones, the Marines, I think he would have not had the tank push here, and obviously then the Dark Shrine goes a little bit less seen. As Bjorn pushing in, he will start to notice that, so again, preparations can be made, scans can be saved. Right now, just this gateway going down to struggle. No blink is the biggest issue, right? Like, these Storgers cannot really engage right now, as the Dark Shrine is going to be next on the target list very, very soon here. That Cyclone could lock onto it and just step away, get rid of the Sentry now as well. Dark Shrine finishing. Bjorn, what are we going to do? Edge forward with the Siege Tank. He's got to have a scan saved up, right? He must know that DTs are going to be a factor. Scan. Scan.
There it is. Yeah, but he still needs to be careful. There's not a lot of gateways, though. Estrella's not going to be able to warp in that many of those Dark Templar for now. It's an expensive structure to be losing, too. He's building gateways. They're all the way on the other side of the map as well. I think there's at least one all the way up north, but this is still an extremely difficult push to hold. Bjorn is likely just going to try and squeeze as much damage out of this arm map. He's on a big path, though, and he is going to be able to see that there is a proxy once more, and he will now also scout that it's a Dark Shrine. Unlucky right there for Estrella, who immediately shakes his head. Look, losing the Stalker there is not a disaster. Losing this, also not necessarily a disaster, but it's the type of stuff that just piles up. Bjorn, wonder if Bjorn, therefore, is going to be a little bit more aggressive than he technically really needs to be. He really doesn't want to give Estrella a whole lot of wiggle room. These high grounds are nice, though. Ooh, not enough energy, I don't think, for a Storm there, although the other High Templar does. It goes down with the Storms as well. Stalkers right now, though, starting to break out of the natural expansion. 14 probes, though, is so much, Wardy, and I don't think he can still reliably fight this army.
No, but now you go into the natural. I actually love the idea of going to the natural with those 2 medevacts, because Estrella's pulling everything to defend the 3rd base, and as Bjorn, you're just looking to run him ragged, right? Just run around, kill more probes, keep Estrella in a very difficult spot as Bjorn is looking to get the opening series of the Esports World Cup for StarCraft 2 this year. As he is very close to it. I mean, a couple Storms here will play cleanup, but Bjorn is going to have so much production back at home.
Dark Templar, though, being annoying. I don't mind that whatsoever. Pushing into the main base here is actually really quite nice. Even just getting like a pylon, a gateway, a cybercore, super annoying. In the meantime, he does lose a few of those SCVs on the other side. 8 of them in total. For 2 Dark Templar, though, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Like, it's okay still for Bjorn, and he's also doing so much damage over here. Those DTs are not helping you defend. I mean, Bjorn looks to go into the main base. Actually sees the 2 High Templar there, so now he knows there's probably no High Templar to the left-hand side, so he's going to dive up a bit higher there. That High Templar does not have energy just yet. You still got to respect the energy overcharge. Then Bjorn has the Widow Mines down to kind of zone onto the low ground, which is really nice too. Going to make Estrella lose something for coming down that ramp.
Impressive work, though, so far by Estrella. It really felt like he was in a world of trouble. I mean, he still is, but he's hanging on. It's very difficult, but he's not making it look impossible. I don't think he can take the heads-on fight, though, and that's exactly what Bjorn is aiming for right now. Another good Storm there on the left. Zealots move in. Widow Mines do latch onto them immediately. So far, Estrella, with a much smaller army, is keeping this huge Terran force at bay. I think going around the side here is perfect for Bjorn.
Because then the army can't come in from the right side. The threat of the Storms is way less because you're going to have to attack in as the Protoss player. Widowmine is actually going to get the Observer, which is kind of cute. We've got a bunch of Storms coming up the ramp, but the first EMPs are great, and the High Temple will have no energy left as Bjorn kills everything, gets the GG, and on a representing mouse, we've got Hero Marine.
And his opponent all the way in the bottom left, representing the Rebellion, it is Lambo. If we are gonna indeed be seeing some of those Cyclones as well, maybe even in this particular series. Either way, for now, it is just going to be a Reaper, nothing out of the ordinary. Forces the little Morphin right there into that Sport left-hand corner of the opponent's bases. Queens are in position, and there is a Sport Crawler too. Battle Cruisers are strong. They mostly have a lot of HP, but yeah, he's trying to just harass the opponent at this stage. And keep in mind, Lambo does have a Laridon. He needs to Spire ASAP, and there it starts.
Yep, Spire starting up. I mean, that's just going to be the response to this. Roger's obviously out will help against the mech-based follow-up of this, so that part of the game from Lambo was absolutely the correct call. BC will come back in. We'll get a Queen. It's concerning because these Queens do not have energy to transfuse right now, so that is going to be the Queens in a bit of trouble. Overload up for grabs there as well. And this turned into a good bit of damage. Again, you need these BCs to stay alive and active as, the drones are now going to be exposed and Lambo is going to lose a ton of them.
Yeah, and this is way more scary actually than the battlecruiser going into BC. Mostly just a distraction as the Hellions are now diving deep. The Cyclones are starting up on the back of this as well. Now the Yamato gun will be available as well. There's siege tanks out already, tons of missile turrets too, making it pretty much impossible for those Corruptors to dive onto the battlecruisers that are still around.
Yeah, not really a situation where you want to do much here as Lambo in terms of like committing in, but hey, piling from a distance is absolutely fine. A missile turret goes down. We take what we can get. He's going to swing to the right side and just force this army to keep on relocating and just find the little chips of damage he can do. Supply blocks here bring with those 2 depots falling, so again, it's the little things that up, and that's actually a pretty major supply block, heavy block for Herobrine to get out of.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Difficult, though, here for Lambo to actually commit. I don't think he wants to do it, although maybe I spoke too soon. 23 Banelings are coming in, Wardy. Does he have enough to overwhelm this? How many siege tanks are there? I've only seen about 2.
Yeah, he's only got 3. He's very Cyclone heavy, so if the Banes can actually just get forward and threaten that mineral line effectively, that could be huge. He's got even more finishing. There's 30 in production. At one point, he's going to dive onto the Hellbats quickly. BCs start to teleport away. The Corruptors do their thing, and the Banes are going to go for that mineral line, but the Cyclones going to do some work. The tank shots were good as well. Oh, the SCVs in the corner are super low. There's more Banelings looking for them, and they are going to get there. So SCVs going down. Here, Marine in general does not have enough to hang on, and Lambo's counterattack busts through after taking all the damage. Does serious work.
Yeah, and this is going to knock Hero Marine all the way back to his starting corner. The third base is going to stay alive for now, but he lost so much army, and this is going to give Lambo all the opportunity to do whatever he likes, and apparently what he likes is to do more of the same. He is just holding down the Roach and the Zerking button, trying his very best to send him in. A couple nicely placed corrosive biles as well. He's going to use the caustic spray ability from those Corruptors too to try and see if he can kill the command center. Even after it escaped and these units deal serious damage, the SCVs cannot repair it. He decides to run away and just sustain them. I think that was on purpose. Lambo could have probably had it. He decides to not take the risk, but look at the supply count right now. This is
even alive and just pulls him back, even if in the moment it's like, no, you could have had it. Yep. He's just going to bust through the natural. Those Cyclones are chasing the Corruptors into the main base, which just leaves the natural completely wide open. The Cyclones turn around, but it is a Baneling explosion in the natural.
Your mind out in those skinny golden mineral fields. Lambo's base is going to get blocked for a little bit. In general, you have a couple of third base options on this map, but the nice thing about this particular one is that it makes taking that gold base so much easier. I love this bunker block, though. He gets a drone, and I think he's going to cancel the bunker. There we go. Excellent start here for our German Terran.
Yeah, Lambo will decide what to do about this. Couple of Lings going to head across the map. The Queens are going to wander over to try and push this Reaper away and to take this hatchery, so...
It slows everything down so much, though. I love the grenade. Perfect grenade right there for Hero Marine. Look, his only goal is to try and slow down the Zerg. And this Reaper, it's achieved all of that and then some. Oh, he's not done. He could not done kill it. Body
blocks. Yeah. Oh! Bow down the bunkers in the front and then try to get in range to bile the siege tanks.
He's doing 2 different fights at the same time. He's using half of his army to try and break open the natural, whereas the other half is very disconnected, maybe trying to pull these units away so he can overwhelm the siege tanks in the bunker. And that's exactly what goes on here. He needs to be careful, though. Roach is in the natural expansion, jumping back up there. Using Stimpack, but it's so costly.
No, this was absolutely beautiful, man. He got on top of the tanks, no problem at all. Bunker went down. He completely negated the defense, and Lambo smacked.
For one, in the bottom left, representing Shopify Rebellion, he is Bjorn.
The top left, our German Zerg player, it is Lambo.
A decent amount of army, too. Lambo trying to make those Banelings in time. Queens very slowly walking on over. Overlord does go down. Lambo is in a little bit of trouble. Loses a Queen right there. In fact, Bjorn sees more opportunity. Goes for 2 more Queens. And he can always pick up if he gets surrounded, or it's Bjorn. He'll just micro out of it. No problem.
Yeah, no need to pick up right there. And still microing back a little bit. In the meantime, his Banshee is going to be able to the past few years, but I actually kind of like the idea overall from Lambo. But if Bjorn does switch into those Widow Mines, it could be really hard to pull it off.
Yeah, it is going to lead to a 4th CC, but obviously a lot of emphasis on the siege tanks and yeah, potential Widow Mines. This attack on the left side is a bit problematic, just with so little creeps.
It's in the main base, but it can make the Queens a little bit slower going back and forth. I will have to pick up here, but that's okay. Like, I feel like Bjorn is doing things of value.
Yeah, absolutely. Even just making sure that this is never a point in which he can actually spread creep on the low ground for like future big battles is problematic. Here comes the big old swarm. However, the Marines are able to get out before they're fully surrounded. The tank will be sacrificed, but not before it gets a few shots off. The Marines do get picked up and will continue to harass that particular location. On the right side, more creep spread being denied. More importantly, thick base still being denied. That's also even going to impact the larva issue. We do see Lambo Lambo starting to bank up a little bit. He does have that Hive, though, replacing some of the Queens, and actually getting to Vipers fairly quickly. I mean, Spellcasters are strong. CDs with the Banelings as well is always going to be a nice point for Beyond to worry about, right? He has an entire avenue on the right side that he doesn't have a Scout on, so he's always going to have to worry about that, although Planetary will take care of a lot of it. And just more aggression on this space. Lambo is close to maxed out. He does have those Vipers to help out as well. And this is a very big committal of Lings, but Beyond anticipating this perhaps, knowing the Planetary wasn't done, sent some units over, might not be enough. Bailey's trying to connect with the Marines as Beyond was just a tiny bit distracted over back at home, and Parasitic Bombs really helping out right there. Not
finishing up very shortly. It's going to be really hard for Beyond to step on creep at all from there.
Yeah. A little bit of a split off of creep is going to keep Beyond still on the map. Lambo can't chase that much, feeling that Beyond certainly doesn't have his entire army on the front lines. Which, I don't know, that actually, that kind of is a lot of it. Oh, is he setting for surround potentially? Maybe he was thinking about it. He does go after the Planetary. SCVs are pulled immediately. Good focus fire as well from the Planetary on top of the Banelings. Hoping to survive a little longer. It will not. 13 SCVs also go down in the middle of the map. Beyond is forced to retreat. His medevac count is just so low. It's about to get lower as well. Another Parasitic Bomb, but Lambo does not want to overstep. He knows he has good momentum. He also has a drop in the main base. Banelings do make some connections. Medevac's hitting targeted down as well. One Ultra looking to hold on here, and it just might do the trick as Lings come running back to defend.
Sick transfusion there as well, just making that last a little bit longer. Finally, some Infestors on the way here for Lambo, who is putting out an incredible game, but Beyond's supply is Vipers in the run-bys.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, absolutely. To be clear, Beyond is still staying above water as far as the army supply, but it's one of those situations where, oh my gosh, if he loses the army, he's in big trouble, and that Fungal was exactly it. Second Fungal follows up, the last second focus fire there from Beyond, but the damage has already been done. The Ultras are starting to lose out on the health, but where are Beyond's reinforcements? He's dealing with another run-by. Liberator will clean that up, but Beyond has lost that army. He is now down 20 army, so it won't work out, but then on the right side, the whole Zerg army is heading to the fourth base.
Yeah, what are you going to do here other than lift and lose all of your SCVs? Not a whole lot. You can see the look on Beyond's face, the tilt of the head. He knows this game is about over. And he's trying his best to hold on, but that is a GG.
You grab the orbital, you will eventually get to a factory, and just about how much damage this does. Lambo, having no idea about it, just left his Overlord in the kind of neutral zone that says at least I can see it incoming. But dealing with 3 racks, 3 Marines coming out, it's very, very difficult. Drones already being pulled, trying to go for that surround, gets a partial surround, can't quite complete it, loses 2 drones for it.
Oh, I'm not sure why that came back out. That's unfortunate. Now, has he actually identified that this is 3 racks? I'm not entirely sure of that, but right now the Marines coming forward, pressuring heavily. That Spine Crawler under a lot of fire right now. I'm really liking where Beyond's at, but that is a nice surround there from Lambo.
And
unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't go that well.
Yeah, these Marines, a little too numerous as well. The Spine Crawler is very, very low, although the Queen on the front line is helping to save that. No, not to inject a creep spread, by the way. You absolutely need the transfuse, and the drones do need to go back to mining. But with 3 racks, there is a potential for you to just collect Marines and go again and hope that the Zerg player doesn't read it correctly.
Yeah, we'll see if he continues that heavy production. I would imagine that he would from here. And in fact, knocks down that spine. There are a few Lings on the way, but actually he was already back in a drone. Yeah, so yeah, GG. Better choice for that previous game than what he ended up doing, especially when you realize he was against just Ling Bane there. But, you know, what you say about, you know, planning out, like, oh, you're probably not going to cheese here. You're probably not going to do an all-in kind of blindly Lambo, so I'm going to go command center first. That's part of what makes a tournament.
And you do still get overwhelmed. But speaking of being overwhelmed, yeah, really one of those tanks. Beyond caught onto it, picked him up, and then had the rest of the army come back in time.
Really good play from both players here. You know, you see a little bit of tit for tat. He's going, he's trying to get the tank. It's not quite working. Trying to get the Marines, gets a few, has to run. Doing a little bit of a counterattack here, keeping him busy. But Beyond's attack is just going forward as planned. He breaks through this wall. He's going to surround these Marines. He's going to hurt the SCVs as well, but Beyond has a lot of units getting in position for his own push.
Yeah, Lambo needs those banelings right now. The tank's getting sieged up in a very difficult place. Creep spread being cleared up as well. That is a lot of queens, and one thing they'll at least do well for now is tank, especially with a couple transfuses. 6 SCVs went down. The Carapace finished during that run by, so that was perfect timing for Lambo to add that little bit of damage. Now the upgrades are even, but unlike many other TVZs, not the double upgrades. Beyond still only on 1 engineering bay. Lambo moving up to 2 evolution chambers. Another big Ling run by. Wants to make sure no more reinforcements come this way.
I love that he puts the units right in between right there. And in fact, he's going to go ahead and roll through the wall with some Banes. Very nicely done. Lot on the ramp. The Baneling's going to try to come up, but Byun's micro so strong. Can he actually target that Baneling? Oh my god. And the Baneling will go onto a tank, so not the biggest deal, but he does pick off the tank. It's a few more SCVs, and of course, there's no reinforcements coming. So that push that Byun has at the top is getting weaker and weaker. Right? Like, the medevacs are not going to pick up every single unit. So you can just kind of sandwich it with a ton and break through. And that's what he's going to do finally now at this point.
Yeah, I made sure to get that medevac too. The other medevac goes down, and that is something that Lambo definitely needed to actually clean up the army.
Everything is looking okay for him too. This feels like it's going to be like a very good long map for him.
And get a little engagement here. This is going to push the Terran army back. A little friendly fire as well, injuring those Marines further. Lambo, I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue much further, but Byun, as I was pointing out, now with a lot of factory units, no Widow Mines planted around every which way, but it's going to be a lot of bio. At this point, just like a purposeful decision. He wants to go more bio than factory. What ended up shutting this down was actually some nice aggression from Raynor in that game I was talking about, and he also got to lurkers, and that really shut down the multitasking.
Yeah. We're
not there yet, but Lambo sees an opportunity with Massling, Baneling, and he is looking for more damage. Byun needs to read into this and actually be prepared to be on the defensive. I think at this point he sees the entire army, and now the job is not to get surrounded, forced to go away from his third base, but that was actually ideal. Lambo, he wanted this around, he had set it up exactly like that, and Byun just maneuvered his way through it.
Yeah, great engage from Byun, who is just about maxed out, up about 40 army supply, which can happen against Ling Bane for sure. It's very small amounts of supply for big armies. But right now, continuing to push, he is going to take down this army. Oh gosh, the queens are starting to fall. Byun is really leaning on Lambo after that poor engage.
Yeah. I mean, Lambo, he's hoping for that opportunity to work out. It doesn't quite. Now forced to take some damage while he rebuilds. He does rebuild.
Now kind of taking that lead again. Byun putting some pressure on this left side. A very marauder-heavy army. I don't think it's going to quite be able to break through. Another attack on the right. The Lings try to engage, but they just evaporate.
Yeah, I wonder if that was even on purpose. Maybe he just was paying attention to the drop, because that was a long time to let Lings take a battle against that much bio without Banelings. Upgrades are still even, but Byun is also inching closer to 3-3. Once again, collecting his army, going for the aggression. No fungals in sight. Lings just dying as they run in right there as well. Lambo, he tilts his head back. He realizes he just lost so much army in such unideal fashion, and this might be too much. Again, Byun takes control and he finds it, and he is going to dominate that battle.
In the bottom right, the red Terran player representing Maus, it is Hero Marine.
Top left side, we're taking a look at the main base of the only player in this tournament that is not representing a team, the Lone Wolf. You want to, oh, like they did earlier today. It is Max Angel, Australia.
As soon as those expansions ramp up, as you near max, as you add on the extra gateways, you're usually in a really powerful position here as Protoss, and already that shield battery paying dividends. Hero Marine coming in right now with a Cyclone with the Marines. You can see he's struggling to pick that one off, and Hero Marine, he's going to use that opportunity to jettison straight into the third base here of Australia. A lot of pressure being levied, but we have a strong Protoss army to blink forward, Roddy.
Yep, Gabe knows that he's going to lose everything here. Now the only goal for Gabe is to kill as many units as possible. At least he got 3 Stalkers that liberate Australia. I really feel like it's been about as good as it could have been. He's going to see this move out as well, and I'm sure that Gabe is feeling a tremendous amount of pressure. He's playing pure Marine tank at this point. That Liberator gets picked up as well. I think if Australia is able to warp in like 8 additional Zealots, he should be fine, because a few tanks shouldn't really be all that scary. This is a pure Marine army. The SMBs come in from the left, but they go straight into the meat grinder. Look at these Colossus having a field day, and this is a horrific attack so far for Hero Marine.
Yeah, the SCVs isolated on the left side. They did not come with the main army, and Australia is waiting with open arms. So many additional gateways just finished up, and you see this beautiful concave that Australia has orchestrated between the natural expansion and the third base. Hero Marine, he is inching forward with these siege tanks. It is all or nothing right now for our Terran player, but I feel like Estrella with another Colossi finishing up, he is in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, was maybe waiting for all those upgrades to finish up. +1 attack done, +1 armor done, extended thermal lens done. I'd say Australia, to make this perfect, you send 5 Zealots on the right side down that ramp. They sneak up on this Terran army from behind, get on top of the tanks, and it's going to be the easiest victory of your life. There you have it, Stain. I love it. I'd say great minds think alike, but I know my mind is nowhere near as great as the mind of Max Angel. This is going to be a very comfortable hold. I am certain of that. I'm sure Australia is certain of that. And big game by Boots State. At this point, I'd be like, oh my god. I've been looking forward to this for months. Here I am, 3 games in. I've lost all 3 games. Let's see if Gabe can keep it together and turn things around.
Widow Mine drop here in the main base.
Doing very good so far. Hasn't fired with a single mine yet. Love the retarget. Does get a shot off, but he's buying time. I couldn't quite, I guess, unburrow that one. I think Hero Marine was...
His Observer Storm nearly done right now. One of these High Templar, very high on energy. I think we have 3 Storms right now at the disposal of our Protoss player. First one, not really getting the big connections, but the follow-up is good. A lot of Marines going down. Ooh. They are in the red. 3rd Storm, a bit of a whiff there. He does zone away the Terran army, but
getting the sentry is very big, by the way, because the Zealots will die a lot quicker without that Guardian Shield. Immortal did show up in time, gets the 1st tank. Immortal is locking on the 2nd tank, gets that as well. He used a couple of the Storms. There's 1 High Templar here. Hero Marine is going to split his army back. Has a couple of Ghosts in the mix as well. Is probably looking for those EMPs. Lands an EMP on the High Templars in the top left side. One final Storm for Australia is good enough.
Storm that Australia had at that 4th base, but it was a good one, getting so much damage done. But now with these Templar getting EMP, low on energy, even the Archon getting caught in the fire. It's Hero Marine fighting back right now. Zealots are going to try and set up some kind of flank, but there's a Widow Mine waiting for them, and these Templar don't really have an easy target. Should Hero Marine pivot, he can actually just take down those Templar, but no. Instead, he has his eyes set on destroying this 4th base. And Estrella, over the past minute, has just collapsed from the pressure that Hero Marine is putting on.
Why settle for 2 High Templars? If we can take out the 4th base, take out 12 probes, kill a couple pylons, and just continue. Gabe is ruthless, to use the word of Polaris over here. There's a couple of High Templars morph into an Archon, but this army of Australia does not stand a chance. It's a great Storm, but it's just a little bit too late. Too much Hero Marine, as Gabe again shows us how mentally tough he is. Losing 3 games in a row on the biggest stage, but he's really turning it around here. Even though Australia is not going down without a fight, I just don't think he's got the firepower anymore. A final few Zealots are not going to make up for this 50 supply deficit. There are 7 or 8 medevacs here in the mix as well. They will keep on healing these bio units. Strong game by Hero.
Are we actually going to have Hero Marine come into the main base with these 3 Reapers? Indeed, he will.
You can just go for it, honestly. You can honestly just go for it. A triple Reaper versus a single Stalker is not the greatest fight for 1 Stalker, but Australia is anticipating the Hellions in a natural. That is a great move, but this still hurts your Protoss economy. Honestly, that was sick. I don't know how he knew. I don't know how he caught a glimpse of that, because he doesn't have a sentry with a hallucinated. But the Reapers have turned around. They're back in the main base. Australia is struggling here. He just has very few units. He needs to respect the double Reaper. He needs to respect the Hellions. The Hellions are here once more. They're actually going to go into the main base, as the Stalkers were in the bottom right of the main. You need 3 shots to kill a probe. This is solid by Gabe. This is very, very, very solid by Big Gabe, as he gets a 7 with lost mining time or a lot of dead probes. No, don't go for the sentry, Gabe. Probes is what you want. He doesn't really know it yet. As a Terran, sometimes you're a little bit hesitant. Like, where's that Observer? Is it close to coming out? No, it's not. Gabe's going to be loving life right now, because this right here is already tremendous damage. Now you see the timing. He can actually kill probes, by the way, in the bottom left side, because that battery is so far on the top right side. And Australia knows it. Even if he's got a battery here, there are still a few mineral patches he cannot use. The ones in the main he can absolutely not use. That is a good blink though. And he will. There is that Observer, and I'd love to see it. We throw down a scan. Hero Marine wants to size up that army, and he's probably not intimidated by it. And a couple of force fields do go down to these Terran forces at a little while longer. But Hero Marine is just all over Australia. There is no other way to put it. Everywhere we look, Gabe is finding victories. And this army is big, it's serious. The Zealots don't quite have charge yet. They will in 10 seconds. But how many Zealots are we truly looking at?
Yeah, there's very little to build up the economy again, but instead Hero Marine, he's going to wait until all his forces, some nice force fields there by Australia, though able to pick off some of these units.
I just don't really see the numbers here for Australia. His army is incredibly tiny. Zealots would be intimidating for these tanks and Marauders. if we're looking at 15 Zealots. But 4 or 5 Zealots, they will just die before they even get in range. The Immortals cannot get in a sweet position to get on top of these tanks. He is counting down the seconds until the Robobay is done. He's making a Colossus. I would almost say make a Hail Mary Disruptor here. And I know that's probably not going to save you, but a Colossus is going to take forever. And the Terran army is already here. We do have a few extra Zealots being walked in. Australia knows it though. There is just so much Terran. The Widowmine connections are fantastic. And the German veteran.
In the top left-hand corner, representing Mouse, we have got Hero Marine.
In the bottom right, representing Shopify Rebellion, he is Lambo. This Reaper ends up still being a nuisance because it is going to come back in, and if it does see the spawning pool, perhaps you'll be thinking of the potential Roach, even Lings coming across the map. It's a little scary. The Lings are going to stop the Reaper from getting to the front. The drone stops the Hellion from getting into the natural. Wow, that was actually slick. Oh, okay, finally a drone dies. There you go.
Finally, it was getting pretty good for Lambo, right? He did a very good job of holding this off, buying some time. That Reaper is going to hop down. There is a Roach nearby. There's Queens nearby. Surely.
As of yet, has no wall. The Banshee is not getting on top of the units fast as they are already in the natural. And this is going to be very difficult for Hero Marine to hold against.
Losing so many, the Hellions means the Zerglings are not as easily cleaned up, but they did arrive a little early. The extra Zerglings now going to help a lot. The Ravagers too. Yes, those Banshees are going to do a lot of damage to the Roach Ravager, but we've got an eternity, it feels like, for this Roach Ravager to kill SCVs, and that's what they're going to get to. The Hellions around the back going to take some of the damage here. Oh, we get rid of one of the Banshees. That halves the damage output against this army.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. 2 Banshees would be so helpful for tearing down these Ravagers. The wall was attempted to be held at the main base, but instead it just lines them up for the Corrosive Bile. 29, 30 SCVs going down. That's already enough damage to call this a success, but Lambo is looking for more. He's looking to break into the main base and kill Hero Marine in game 1.
Yes, he is. He's not stopping. That depot goes down as well. He is going to be in. He's going to be jumping on these Marines, and he will be able to go after even more SCVs. The Banshees have cleaned up the Roaches, sure, but the Lings can continue to do their thing, and more of these SCVs. Fresh Mules can go down, not mining. Hero Marine will struggle to recover from this, as so much has been lost. More Lings still being made by Lambo, not going into that kind of just drone production. I mean, I don't think he needs to. I think this is a great choice because he's continuing to get so much damage done because he's wiped out so much army so quickly.
Yeah, as I said, 30 is kind of the good point to say, like, that was good damage, but to get... I mean, it was actually very annoying in the first game. Like, this is not something where just... You can say, like, oh, man, the Reaper didn't really try to get the Scout, you know, and it probably did more damage. Hero Marine tried super hard to get both of those things, and Lambo denied him at almost every opportunity. Is looking to do so once again on the harassment, but does lose that drone. So not absolutely perfect. Hero Marine's got to simply go out. You know, usually it's if it's like a Roach attack, it's the next 2 Hellions that might need to stay at home, but this is so fast with speed, and the 2 Hellions are so unlikely to be at home that this is just a good opportunity to get some SCV damage.
Got to be kind of careful in the micro here, right? You don't want those Hellions to get caught as 2, 3 SCVs going down. Lambo wants to get a good bit done here. He gets one of the Hellions. That's a lot of the damage lost. The Marine will go down as well. The other Hellions are returned home. They'll be here in a moment. How many units do we end up killing? 7 SCVs. But
there's also that concern that you all are going to get Ling flooded as you transition over into Bio, for instance. So this could also just be remade Hellions, which might actually find success. Once again, the SimCity blocking is very good, allowing the drone to get behind the Queens, which would body block to save them. And these Hellions just can't find the damage done. Lambo adds on a Hydralisk Den as Hero Marine continues adding on his factories. Yeah, there's a very big concern too. But 4 Banshees are my biggest concern. And that should really say that it is mech. And the 4 Banshees, I mean, they're going to kill a lot of Queens, especially as the Overseer's not quite done. No Transfuses were saved up either. Spore Crawler will save the day. You don't really want to tackle that because the Banshees are so expensive and so useful in many other regards. But yeah, you can see they even just dip back in to kill 1 Banshee. Looking for a second. This time the Transfusers are here.
Wrap around on this army as well. Hero is coming in from the top side, and we are going to see Lambo going to be able to connect in with some of the Banelings, and you have to turn into the Banelings as well. The Zerglings on the top were a little bit late to join, but we still got a decent trade at the start of this from Lambo. Was it enough?
That was actually a lot of Cyclones that went down towards the end with some help from maybe the friendly fire of the tanks. But it's a good question, was it enough? You know, these are actually desperation tactics. He needs one amazing engagement, which I think he's going to see. It's not going to be this one. Lambo gonna have to give this game up, actually, by the looks of things. It's just not these things to have happen. The Zerg player versus mech.
Yeah, this is going to be rough as we see the Banshee just going to cloak up, back away. The Hydra's going to try and take that chance to dive in. Some of the Banes already jumping forward, but Hellbats dropping on top of the Hydralisk, and that just leaves them with no good option. Banes have to crash into Hellbats, but just don't really have much here for Lambo. Extra Banelings finishing up. Can they be enough with the tank sieging up and starting to get pit stop? Most likely not. It looks like we might get a game 3 in here, Marine, with a bit of momentum behind him. Is going to be looking scary heading into his final game if that's where we go.
Yeah.
It's time to clean up for now, extra Lings.
It will. Not enough Hellions to protect the tanks here. The Lings getting some excellent surrounds, I guess you would call them. Partial surrounds.
Although maybe we didn't really want to use the Banes there. This hatchery is going to go down quick, and you can see Lambo immediately evacuates. He's not in position to defend it. The lack of creep on the map sucks, right? It's just so frustrating to not be able to get that jump or get that little bit of momentum onto that army. And Lambo now supply blocked as well. Not going to be feeling pretty as he tries to play cleanup once again. This Hydra line will do what it can, but it is getting tougher, especially with the addition of some Liberators to help hold down these positions. Here, Marine Supply is looking better than ever in this game too, and he is pushing on forward.
Yep. Got that 2-1 finished as well. Some Viper Abducts try to help out, but at this point you can see here Marine knows these Cyclones are going to win the game. There's nothing else coming out from Lambo, and he does. This is when the Lings arrive, and it is so many of them as well. Gonna be able to get that partial surround of the command center immediately, and then just like,
cancel.
I think they're just gonna go for it, right? Like, they're gonna force the cancel even if you lose the Lings.
Yep, you're going to kite around the other side, only one Marine dealing damage, you get the cancel, and now you try and make the most of this, right? This is where you try and get some SCVs on top of the command center cancel, and it's already looking not so bad, right? You're going to get the Marine, the SCVs get away, we didn't lose any of those, so that is nice. These Lings will be trapped, but we knew that going in Lambo that they were probably not making it home.
On the line, the Banshees already find the Roaches on the offensive. 4 Banshees worth of damage as well. Their Crucibles now being depleted as the Ravagers die. The Queens actually are a little bit of trouble. I mean, the micro that has to be done here is just so much more than you would want, and 4 Banshees still rule the skies, dealing that extra damage. The Queens have to be microed so much, and the Cyclone Hellion is just already getting a lot of shots off. The tanks get into a really great position. 1 Banshee does go down, but Lambo definitely needs to do a lot more here. SCVs have to be pulled. He's going to go after the tank and find that one, but a tank in the natural also helping out. SCVs can be sacrificed for the greater good as long as you make the hold, and it looks like the hold is going to be made. 2 Banshees still alive. We're down to 1 Queen, just a handful of Roaches, and more reinforcements are on the way. Here, Marine, he loses 25 SCVs. Is he okay in the long run?
I mean, you would think so, right? He's held on against what is a low attack. Man, the Queen the micro, by the way, was
gonna handle this push. That 5th base is very injured already, so just a couple of lock-ons, honestly, will kill it in the blink of an eye. Something that Lambo also knows and has to take kind of a preemptive stance with his army. Got a little run-by of something over on the 4th base, not yet a planetary. Roaches will cause some issues. And here, Marine obviously not going to pull back for this, just send his reinforcements over there. If he loses some SCVs, that's actually probably okay. He still has a very strong position on the offensive, and he is going to get this hatchery again. Just a couple of lock-ons, and it's gone.
Where are the Vipers actually? He had a couple of them. They're going to be very important to keep Landing Cloud and just stuck. He's spreading them out pretty nicely right now. We're actually going to go for some abducts like that as well. That's essentially free damage being done, because anything you grab in is definitely going to die.
Yeah. A couple of Cyclones go down, but the tanks still in a strong number and siege hopping consistently forward. Vipers once again back in the action. What will they do? Looks not too much. And now grabbing more of those Cyclones. Lambo hoping to thin this army out before it actually starts to harass and pressure that 4th hatchery. But here Marine is not going to be deterred. He still thinks that he has a strong position that he doesn't have to evacuate with, and he will continue pushing until Lambo forces him back. And Lambo is struggling to do so, having to buy that time for the Vipers to regain their energy.
Yeah, going to come around from the side though, once the Blinding Cloud's right now. This should be a Blinding Cloud opportunity, right? Get it on now. He doesn't have one for the back siege tank. He's going to abduct instead. So we're going to clean out some of the tanks here, push the space back a little bit. This tank line is super deep though, and Lambo's just going to keep on going, letting the Hydras do their thing. Finally pulls back, has a little bit of creep to work with, but he lost a lot right there.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure he realized how deep the tank line actually was, but also like 20 Lings could have been huge right there. There were no Hellions, the Cyclones aren't going to be enough, and unfortunately they weren't there at the right time. They're now here, but so are Hellions, which are going to be made very quickly, obviously, as well. And here Marine is just hoping that this is going to turn into a noose, you know? Like, if Lambo tries to defend here and fails, he'll have lost his army and another base, and that would be catastrophic. Coming in from the backside with a couple of Vipers, Blinding Cloud's trying to help out. Lambo will take down some frontline units. But is this enough again to actually deter Hero Marine? Now, Hero Marine stands his ground.
Yeah, Hero Marine is going to hold this position. It's getting tough for Lambo. Vipers are out of energy. The Infestors died earlier on as well, so they are without the ability to come in and aid this. This hatchery is super low as well. You've got to imagine that a Cyclone lock on or two could start to chip through that and put the pressure on. Lambo begins to just evacuate this location. He does have other bases coming up now, so...
This game, from being only the defender to trying to actually get something across the map, that's why we have potential run-by set up. Broodlords might also be able to do it if you can kind of hide them long enough that they don't have Vikings or Thors, usually is more so the answer. But honestly, you need a decent amount of Broodlords, and we can't quite afford them as of yet. Cyclones go deep for a hatchery kill. They are going to be caught because of that, so that was a good number of Cyclones killed.
Yeah, it was, but Lambo gets knocked down.
Broodlords are on the way. 3 Vikings is already a solid start against the amount that we're coming out with anyway. And then we could add on Thors. Fungal tries to hit something better than just a single Viking, doesn't quite catch it. That catches quite a bit, but you can't follow it up with any of your ground army at the very least because of the tank. So that's what the Broodlords are for. Broodlords starting to take things out. The Cyclones should never get close enough with those Fungals protecting them too, but here Marine, I think he's pretty okay with this trade. He knows that Lambo is desperate, that he's on these Broodlords as a desperate play to try and improve the trades here as he desperately gets back his bases. 2 more are arriving for Lambo, but he's also been sent down to 62 drones.
Yeah, the economy's just not been there, right? If he kept the bases alive and this sequence of events comes about, I think it's okay for him. But losing the economy for a while really was not it. We are knocking down some Vikings, but the Vikings aren't going to be the issue soon. It's going to be those Thors.
Ideal situation, maxed out, well composed, and with a bank behind it. Struggles against the growing Thor mech count. These are some good abducts. They will kill 3 Thors. A couple of Hellbats going down too. More Thors being brought in. But they are, at the end of the day, trades. These tanks are getting some shots off. The Thors are actually killing units. Lambo's supply continues to plummet. The Neural Parasite will never see the light of day. Here, Marine realizes this is not enough. And he just continues the fight. Lambo taps out.